If these types of movies have taught me anything over the years, it's that nothing ever good comes from a weekend away with your buddies in the middle of nowhere. I'm sorry, but best case scenario, you'll be arguing over who gets the bottom bunk. Worst case scenario, you'll be hanging above the mantelpiece by Sunday. Don't believe me? Well, listen up. Companion is a new sci-fi thriller about a billionaire's death, setting off a crazy chain of events for a young woman named Iris and her friends during a relaxing weekend trip to his lakeside mansion. Now, you can probably already tell right off the bat that this is definitely going to be one of those movies that's pretty hard to talk about without giving anything away, because a good deal of the entertainment delivered from this experience is all because of the twists and turns they throw at you during this seriously messed up couples retreat. Just so you know what I'm talking about when I say that, a massive selling point of this movie's marketing has been that it's from the same sick and twisted individuals behind Barbarian, which is another movie that throws surprising haymakers and is best experienced as blind as possible. So when I sat down to watch this film, I was hoping for something fresh that would make me squirm in my seat a little bit and take me on a wild ride from beginning to end. And even though the story centers around themes that have been tackled and dissected before, the movie succeeds at being a satisfying trip to the theater. It's films like this that are why I always thank ChatGPT after using it. I'll just leave it at that. And to just get this out of the way from the jump, when it comes to the actual tone that we're dealing with here, it's definitely more of a sci-fi psychological thriller than it is a straight-up horror movie. Don't get me wrong, you for sure get your fair share of bloody kills and shocking moments for the lunatics that like that kind of stuff, like myself, but the movie is way more similar to something like Infinity Pool or Ex Machina than it is your run-of-the-mill horror outing. And that's a big part of what actually makes the movie interesting, how it decides to tackle the themes it wants to cover. Power imbalances within relationships, our over-reliance on technology, and just what it means to be in control are a few of the messages over the course of the film. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying they really added anything new to the social commentary or landscape there, but it's still a pretty entertaining way to explore those types of dynamics. Drew Hancock, who is also our director this time around, is clearly a skilled writer and is capable of handling a project that balances both intense drama and wacky comedy, even if his only other writing credit is for Fred 3, Camp Fred. But I won't hold that against him. Now, the main reason to see this film is because of the performances and chemistry between Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid. They do a really good job here as this central couple, and the movie is at its best when they're both sharing the screen together. Sophie Thatcher is one of those people for me that kind of just popped up out of nowhere and started killing it in the horror genre, and she's got this rare final girl and intelligent mentality that she brings to all the roles I've seen her in. And then you have Jack Quaid, who seems like he would have chemistry with a doorknob if you wanted him to, so when you pair him up with a couple of actors that are ready to receive his relatable and awkward energy, usually the end result is pretty enjoyable. Everybody involved with this project is a good fit for their specific role, and they're more than capable of bringing the laughs from start to finish, even when the story descends into complete madness after a while. Lucas Gage in particular is a guy I'm becoming more impressed with as time goes on. He seems like he's popping up in almost every movie ever in the horror genre lately, and when he's used effectively, he's able to show a good bit of range. Now, we're gonna wrap this up by talking about the visuals for a little bit, because I think they're worth mentioning and add a lot to the overall vibe here, much like movies that kind of play in a similar space to Companion like Midsummer. So much of this film takes place during the daytime, which isn't all that common for these horror adjacent movies these days. There's a lot of symmetry, there's a lot of clean colors, and that makes it that much more satisfying when those standards are eventually broken with these big moments of messy violence. Sophie Thatcher's character, by design, likes to keep herself neat and tidy, so watching her go through this epic gauntlet of hellish proportions made for a very jarring but visually pleasing aesthetic throughout. Even if I thought the story veered a little bit more toward the formulaic for my liking as it was all coming to a close, the movie looked really good the entire way through. Overall, guys, Companion is definitely a wild and entertaining ride of a sci-fi psychological thriller. The script is snappy, the actors have good chemistry, the story will keep you guessing, but I don't know if the social commentary aspect added anything truly new to the general conversation, even if the setup provided an interesting way to explore those types of themes. But at the end of the day, if you're someone who enjoys these types of bloody, dark comedy movies with a twist, do yourself a favor and go in as blind as possible for this one. Companion gets a Sully score of 3.5 stars. So that's my review for the latest thriller. What's a movie from the genre you don't think enough people talk about? I'm gonna go with Fresh from 2022, but let me know in the comments below what you think. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys at the next one.